Welcome to the How to Heal podcast, the show where we explore real life stories and practical tools to thrive. I'm your host, Lindsay Tremarky Richter, and through over a 15-year journey of all things healing, I'm here to hook it up. If you're feeling overwhelmed, looking for a deeper connection, or straight up in a psycho-spiritual crisis, I got you covered. Let's unearth your unique elixir to purpose, peace, and progress. Here we go. Here come the Atstepa on the Libercam Nonsta. Okay, so guys, today we're talking about how to be honest. And I want to really just say, like, I know what it's like to not feel safe enough or accepted enough or confident enough or whatever is causing you to not be honest. So this episode really is about how to break out of dishonest patterns and get into the utmost versions of honesty that no one sees, that only the individual sees. So if we talk about dishonesty can range from lying to people about things, cheating, stealing, all of those yummy, disgusting, impulsive behaviors that many times people don't see because you're apt at hiding them. And that's the thing about lying and being dishonest, is that the more you do it, you are more easily able to justify and rationalize why you're like that. It's okay to do that. The thing about it, though, is that when you continually make dishonest decisions, even when you're not being dishonest, people think that you're being dishonest. I have a soon-to-be 6-year-old. We tell her about The Boy Who Cried Wolf all the time. And it's a similar concept. But when you're dishonest for long enough, you start to feel terrible by yourself. It's not even just like, oh, I feel terrible in front of this person because I did something dishonest, cheat, steal, lie, whatever, to this person. And now I have to face this person. And you're just like, I feel like shit with this person. But then what ends up happening is that when you get to the level of like just feeling terrible by yourself, because you have to face the fact that you have to lie again when you're actually in the presence of the person. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of the precipice of being like, okay, how am I going to make changes? This episode is not to shame you in your dishonesty. This episode is to help you figure out how to actually want to become more honest and actually how to become more honest. When we are dishonest in, let's say, small actions, any sort of mishap that you can fall into dishonesty, like stealing or whatever, it gets to the point where you're, let's say, in a room, you're in an energetic room, and there's just too much junk on the floor. It's like you opened something, you ate it, you threw the wrapper on the floor. Let's use that analogy. Now all of a sudden you're surrounded with filthy, disgusting wrappers that have like sugar all over them or burrito juice all over them or whatever. And you're like, I can't be in this room anymore, but this is the room that I'm in. There's no way out. Like the door won't, like I can't even reach the door because there's so much stuff in the room. I need to clean the room up. And once we start to clean the room up is when we get into this idea of helping you rectify the patterns of dishonesty in your life. and really looking at the incongruencies of the dirty wrapper on what feels like that dirty wrapper on the floor. I'm using this analogy because Viola Davis in Braving the Wilderness was quoted, don't leave anything on the floor. And it's exactly where I was when I started dating my husband, and I was like, this is the man I want to marry, and I have to clean up my life now. There are actions that I'm taking that are no longer congruent with the person that I want to be, the person that he is inspiring me to become, and the life that I want to live that I'd be proud of. And when we look at the different kinds of things that we leave on the floor after, gobbling up the vending machine junk and throwing it on the floor, like for a quick fix, we have to examine, number one, it becomes a task of, let's rectify this behavior. Maybe we don't understand why we act this way, but let's just rectify the behavior. The first thing for me was quitting cigarettes. I was smoking throughout my 20s and then early 30s. I smoked off and on, and it was something that I like hated about myself, but because there were so many times in my life where I was so lonely, it felt like, Mr. Cigarette, my only friend. I remember I came up with that when I was backpacking through Europe by myself. And that was the way I quit smoking, was through, and I use this word generally, but community. Like, I had a support system. I had somebody who was like betting on me that I wasn't going to disgrace myself in that way anymore. And Jason kind of gave me an ultimatum. He's like, I'm not going to marry a smoker. And he knew I wanted to quit. And that was really the first step in cleaning up. I mean, just imagine how many cigarette butts and cigarette boxes are just on the floor in your room. It's something that is just kind of gross. And again, I'm not shaming here, but we're looking at things with a profound level of honesty so that we can implement the change that we want to implement. I also stopped drinking. It's been over 3 years now that I've been alcohol free, and I really had to take an honest look at my actions and honestly the sheer lack of benefits from alcohol in my life. Yes, like when I go to El Molino for Valentine's Day and all the Italian guys are like, oh, you want the wine, the vino, that. I'm like, yes, it seems so romantic to drink some red wine on Valentine's Day. But like, that is something that had to go. I couldn't have my cake and eat it too. And I needed to have a level of accountability for the way I was acting in my personal energy. I wasn't even drinking so much at the end. I was maybe drinking a couple times. I mean, at the very end, I hadn't drank for 6 months, and I was drinking, it was like a couple of drinks every once in a while. It wasn't even a lot, but it was just this level of integrity where it was like there was a sloppiness that I didn't like. And as we clean up the wrappers on the floor and as we get rid of habits, we start to realize that there are invisible habits I have to tend to. And this was one of those invisible habits. I wasn't on the precipice of ruining my life, but energetically, I was holding myself back from really like who I wanted to be. And I think when we look at being honest and dishonesty, it can really go from this granular cheat, steal, lie, thing to this is how I'm acting in my own energy in the ways that people don't even see. And even though I can hide it, I don't want to hide it because it doesn't feel good for me inside anymore. It doesn't feel good when I'm alone with myself. Like if you've lied or been dishonest, you know how easy it can be to flip the switch off and be like in front of other people lying about who you are. But let's get to the point where we're clean enough in our room, in our energetic room, where we don't want to tolerate incongruencies. We don't want to tolerate the filth that maybe no one else can see, but we can. So this is a short one, but I think a potent one. And it really falls into the theory and premise of how to heal, where we want to remain in integrity through and through. We want to remain in integrity when whether people can or cannot see us, because that is when we can lay our head on the pillow at night in peace. That is when we can stand at the gates when we're on the other side and we're, going up or down or wherever the hell we're going. And we're going to be like, you know what? I did the best I could with the experience I had. And I'm proud of it. So I love you guys. And honestly, if you are here listening to this, you are all on this path. You guys value this. You will get there. I promise. I love you.